Hi, I'm Madeline Murray.
And I'm Travis Jones. Welcome to Getting Started at Covenant Kids.
Another common inquiry that we have at Covenant Kids is people inquiring about this happened in my past, or something bad happened to my family, or we've struggled with this in the past. Can I still be a foster parent? And we love answering questions like that because it gives us an opportunity to minister to our families. Travis, what is your advice for families who are concerned about an individual or family past struggle that they've walked through?
Yeah, people get really concerned about that. And the first thing that I would say is we're not looking for perfect people. We know that we're not going to find them. And so actually, when we get home studies back that show that everything's just perfect, there's never been any problems, there's not, they've never dealt with anything difficult in life, we usually send it back to go dig a little bit deeper and figure out kind of what's going on at that house because life's not easy. As believers in Christ, we know that there will be hard times. The Bible tells us that we're going to have trials, but there's hope because God changes lives, and we believe that the things that we experience aren't in vain, that they are for our good and for ministry and for purpose and all of those types of things. And so as we talk with families, what we really need is we need people to give us their experience. We need them to tell us their story, and really we want to know kind of what have you been through and how have you overcome. Where are you at today with that particular thing? One mom told us about a really difficult experience that she had that led to a season of depression and really kind of overcoming something. And as God really established a new plan A in her life, and she really adapted to that and changed her life. She was able to open up to the idea of fostering and adopting children, and she didn't really believe that past experience had much to do with the kids, but along the way she really got a special insight. Foster care and adoption can't be plan B. It can't be second best or something else that people do. It's really got to be their whole heart is in it, every fiber of their being. And she said, God gave her this wisdom that the things that she had been through were maybe not just about her, but about helping to understand kids who have to adapt to a whole new lifestyle, a whole new change. They have to adapt to a new plan A. They didn't ask to leave their family and have those types of changes. And so, she was able to see how she was being prepared for a special type of compassion and ministry to kids, better understanding their situations. And we don't want anybody to plagiarize somebody else's story, but those are the types of things that we're trying to pay attention for during a home study. But certainly if God gives you wisdom and insight into your own life, and you can see how you might be uniquely prepared to help kids from hard places, we want you to tell us.
That's what we want to hear.
Tell your story. Let us know how you're called and prepared and set apart for this journey.
So it's not that Covenant Kids is going to focus on the bad or the struggle. We're going to focus on the victory that came along with it.
Absolutely.
Even if it's still in process, the victory is still in process.
Yeah, and we need to see, where you're at. We need to see some resolution. And sometimes when families haven't, made it all the way kind of toward the end of that, or they're still kind of too much in the middle of it, we may ask them to take a little bit of break and, or come up with a plan for how they might work through that. But we want to include people that are yielded and working on their stuff. We're just looking for real families. Our kids need real families. They need families that believe in restoration and redemption and the ability to change, people that are willing to be open and work on their stuff, because we're going to ask them to do those things with their kids. So, if a family's participated in therapy, we don't see that as a liability. We're probably going to ask you to engage these kids in therapy.
Absolutely.
If somebody's accessed some type of resource or medication or something like that, we need to know that they're stable today. But again, that can be a real asset because they know how to seek help and they are willing to reach out. So we don't want you to fabricate stuff or make it, messy or whatever.
Want it to be your real life.
Yeah. We've got to have their real story. But by all means, talk to us. Help us to understand your life, your family's story, where you're at. And we believe in God's ability to change lives.
Yeah. We also have families that are really concerned about their criminal history. If their record isn't squeaky clean, maybe they have some hits coming up on their criminal history. What is your advice to them about that?
Well, obviously it's easiest for us when people have no criminal history at all. But Again, we believe in God's ability to change lives. So the criminal histories that we run are actually going to show any types of arrests or charges. And because we do FBI-based fingerprint-based FBI checks, we're going to get those searches for all over the country. So we need you to be open on the survey, the application, and the home study. Tell us about anything that you even think might show up, because we're going to know about it. It's not going to just show the final convictions or outcomes. If it was dismissed, wrong name, wrong person, whatever, go ahead and tell us. Let us know anything. It's a lot easier to start that way.
Yeah.
For most issues that show up on a background check, as long as it wasn't really, really recent, we're able to see, again, what's that life change? Where are you at today in light of that particular issue? There's going to be a list of things that bar a person from being a foster or adoptive parent, but that's a pretty short list of very serious offenses. So, again, it's just something we want you to talk to us about, and it's something we should know about before we get to the home study. But if by chance there's something that you remember, go ahead and tell us. Let us work through that. We don't hold those types of things against people. We look to see how we can include you in the process.
So basically, if a family has been through a struggle, or an individual has been through a struggle, or even suffered through tremendous loss or grief, or even has a criminal history, it's the same as with everything else we've been talking about. We want to hear the story. We want to hear what you learned from it, what you got out of it, and where your family is today. And it's not about judging. It's about looking for the victory, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Travis. We really believe in God's restoration and God's redemption. And we really think that you telling us your story is the perfect way to see how you're going to live that out with our kids. So thanks again for joining us with Getting Started at Covenant Kids.